Hello and welcome to the High Desert Yarn YouTube channel. Today we are going to be learning how to use a chart and how to use overlay crochet techniques to create a beautiful coaster. So I have this chart here and you're welcome to sign up for my newsletter list, and I will send this PDF to you so you can print it and have it out. I also have an extra little bookmark here that I'm going to go ahead and attach right under my first row. I like to use a binder clip, but you can use a paper clip. Any other piece of paper is going to work, just something that is going to help you stay on the right line that we're working on. So other things you're going to need today for this tutorial is a size 5mm crochet hook and 2 different colors of yarn. I'm using a worsted weight yarn and this paint box yarns to create this crochet pattern. And then last, you will need a pair of scissors to make this pattern. So some of the basics of overlay mosaic crochet is that each row is going to be crocheted in one single color. So even though, say, in row 8 we have white and then purple, we are always going to be crocheting in white. So step 1, we're going to look at this letter right here, and this letter is going to determine which color we're crocheting the whole row in. And then second, we're going to look at the box. So if we come over here, we have our guide. So any box that does not have an X, we're going to be crocheting a back loop single crochet. And then any box that does have an X, we're going to be crocheting a front loop only double crochet, but in the second row down. So I know it's a little crazy, and I know it could just be a little bit overwhelming if you're brand new. So let's dive in and let's walk you straight through it. So for the first step, I went ahead and created a chain of 18. And then in every chain, in the second chain from the hook, I went ahead and crocheted my first row, which is gonna be row 1. So you're gonna need to have 17 stitches of single crochet. Okay, so when we're starting every row, we're gonna grab our yarn, the next color yarn, and I always like to just go ahead and join with like a chain 1. It gets a little bulky, but in the end it evens out after we do our borders. So in every border stitch, we're gonna do a center single crochet, which is basically you just kind of go between the legs of the that stitch, and then you do a single crochet. So there's our first border stitch. And then according to our chart, all the way across, we're going to be doing back loop. Here, move this. We'll be doing back loop only single crochets in every stitch across. So let me move this off to the side, and I will show you what that's like. So our back loop is, there's a front loop right here, and then the back loop is right there. So we're just gonna go underneath that back loop and create a single crochet. So do that in every stitch across the row until you get to the last stitch. Okay, so I've gotten to my last stitch, and we're gonna be placing another center single crochet kind of in between those 2 legs. So I kind of put it between those 2 legs, front to back, pull up my single crochet and finish it. And then to finish the row, I always like to go ahead and do 1 chain. And this is where we're going to end up cutting our yarn. At the end of every row, go ahead and cut your yarn. And you just pull through that loop, and don't worry about tying them. Don't worry about your ends right now. You don't have to be leaving this much ends loose. You could probably even do half of that, but just to be safe, I like to add a little bit extra. So there we've got rows 1 and rows 2 done. So now moving on to row 3. So when we look at row 3 right here, we know that we're going to be crocheting it in color A. So color A is purple. So we're going to make sure we grab our purple yarn, and then we're going to do a center single crochet for this first stitch, And then in this next stitch, we're going to be placing a back loop single crochet right here, back loop single crochet. And then we're going to be placing a front loop double crochet, but this one is going to be in 2 rows down. So in the front loop of 2 rows down of this first row we did. So then we repeat that pattern over and over all the way to the end. So I'll leave this here. And then I'll pull out my yarn. So again, leave a little bit of a tail as you're attaching your yarn. And then I like to just go ahead and go under just those first 2 loops of the first stitch, and then pull up a loop and then chain 1 to kind of close it. And then I will do my center single crochet. So you go between those 2 legs from front to back, pull up a loop, and then pull up another loop through those 2 loops. So now, according to our pattern for row 3, we're going to be doing a back loop only single crochet. So back loop only single crochet. And the next one is a front loop only double crochet. So here's the stitch we're working in, and we're going to be coming under this loop right here. So yarn over, insert your stitch under that front loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then finish your double crochet. Move this out of the way. So now we're going to be repeating that pattern all the way across. So single crochet in the back loop, and then front loop double crochet in 2 rows down. And then back loop single crochet, and then front loop double crochet, but in 2 rows down. And then it's starting to create that little pattern for row 3. So let's finish out this row and get to row 4. Okay, so we're at the last stitch, and we're going to be placing our ending border stitch right there, and we're going to be going between the 2 legs of that stitch, and then chain 1, and then we're going to go ahead and just leave a little bit of tail and get it trimmed. All right, so there we have the first 3 rows of our chart. So I really feel like row 3 gives you a really great introduction to the alternating, like the back loop only single crochet and then the front loop only double crochet. And so we're going to be basically doing the same process here, but just doing kind of like repeating what we started with. So to go over this row again for the beginners, we're going to be starting with color B. Color B is our white yarn. So grab your white yarn, and then we're going to be doing front loop double crochet, back loop single crochet, front loop double crochet, back loop single crochet. And then when you get to this point and you don't need to remember that you're going into the 2 rows below for your double crochets, you can use this marker here and just kind of go through. But if you still need to be able to see the picture to make sure that you are doing what the chart says, please feel free to just keep it open. You might want to just add a little dash or so next to the end. So move this up here. So we'll go ahead and attach our yarn for row 4. Okay, center single crochet for that beginning stitch. And then we're going to be placing a front loop double crochet into this stitch right here. And then we're going to be placing a back loop single crochet here, front loop double crochet, and then back loop double crochet or single crochet, front loop double crochet, and then so on and so forth until you get to the very end. Okay, and there we have it. We've got row 4 done, and we can start to see how our swatch is starting to line up with the picture of the swatch. So just continue on with that method. I'm going to go ahead and add some of the rules of Overlay Mosaic Crochet in the description. If you get stuck, always follow this guide. I did put the repeats in here in case you wanted to repeat it, and also so that if you get to a like a bigger pattern that has a repeat in it, you're not going to be thrown for like, what is that red line? So please, if you have any questions, please reach out in the comments, or you can always email me at hello@high-desert-yarn. I really hope you join the spooky season mosaic blanket crochet along. That's going to be starting up next week. I'll have all that information down below in the description. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.